Alright, so we probably are live right now. Even though I've got the wrong title. 24. Save. There we go. And there we are. Welcome to the live stream. We are staring at the sun, everybody. We've got one sunspot centered on the sun right now. And we got pretty good skies right now. I'm using just a single solar filter, not two, like I have been the last couple of days. And I think it's working better. We have really good detail on the surface of the sun today. If I zoom all the way out, and I'm still using, I figured out my networking issues yesterday. I got some speed back, but I found that the real culprit in why everything is so laggy is actually Firecapture. That's the software I'm using to look at the sun. It just runs slow. Every other computer program that I use is a little bit more responsive, but if we look at the CPU utilization here, the TheSkyX is using a fair amount, but then Firecapture, look at that, climbing all the way up there to the top, 30% of the CPU just for Firecapture alone. So I'm gonna try and figure out if there's something I can do with this to make it a little bit more responsive. Like instead of being a 16-bit image, let's try and do an 8-bit image. That should reduce the amount of data coming off of the camera, which in turn should reduce the amount of work Firecapture has to do. So that's what I'm currently trying to do, is just trying to get some responsiveness back with this Firecapture program. Hopefully this will speed things up and make it so it's not so resource hungry. Because it's trying to process like 60-something images a second. And now we're up to about 100. But let's just see if Firecapture is a little bit more responsive. What I'm trying to do is zoom out just a little bit. It does look like it's going to play a little nicer. Instead of it being like a full 10-second delay, I'm down to maybe 2 to 3 seconds. So that's better. And it does respond. So look at that sun. Look at that. That's the sun that we have today. I'm going to try and nudge it back to the center a little bit. So we go to telescope. This is the planetarium software that I use. It's called TheSkyX. If I go right, that should nudge it down a hair. That's more than a hair. I forgot. I have to change it from 10. Now I have to go 5. And then go left, left. And now we're going to switch it back to 1 instead of 10. Nudge it right 1 click. That's better. Now we need to move it to the right, which I'm not sure which direction that is. We're going to try up. No, we're going to go down. Down, down, down. couple more downs. And then let's do 2 lefts. Yes, I know. There's already a mount. Command in progress. That looks pretty centered. What do y'all think? I think that's looking pretty good. So that's our sun today. Let's go ahead and make this really bright. And what we're going to be looking for are prominences over the edge of the sun. And that's looking pretty impressive. We got some really neat stuff happening right over here on this edge of the sun. Let's see if we can maybe raise this up a little brighter and take a look at that. So yeah, some of this stuff here on this edge of the sun is starting to show up a little bit better. But it is pretty faint. But some of this activity is just impressive. Let's zoom in on some of that. Take a look at it. %300 zoom. Drag the sun over. There we go. Not looking too bad. Trying to manage a couple of different things right now. Let's go ahead and tune that down so it's not so bright. Let's take a look at some of the granulation on the sun. There. And then how bright are we? Like how close are we to filling up the max brightness on this thing? About 84, 85%, so I could probably do 3.25. Because I want some of these prominences on the edge of the sun to show up. gonna nudge the telescope to the right just a bit. It should move it down a hair. There we go. That is just looking killer. We've got really good focus. We've got a pretty good sky today. I'm gonna make a capture of this. I'm gonna do a photo of this. What do you think? 3,000 frames ought to be enough. Yeah, this is gonna look nice. Alright, I'm gonna step away for just a second. Y'all enjoy the sun. Alright, I'm back. Sorry for leaving you there. Alright, so we're looking at the sun, obviously. For those of you who are popping in, taking a look. We've got a couple of nice little sunspots happening here. I'm going to look these up and figure out what active regions we've got here. So the website that I use for this is called spaceweather.com. And I'm thinking these active regions are 3415. That's the one close to the edge. And then the one more kind of centered on the sun, I think is 3413. I don't think that we've had any actual solar flares from either one of these regions today. I don't think we've got any actual flaring happening right now. Let me go and see if there's any. Yeah, it looks like it's been pretty steady in terms of output. So I don't think anything is flaring or getting ready to flare right now. But we've definitely got this really cool wispiness on the surface of the sun, that little feathery texture that I just love so much. You can only get that with a specialized hydrogen alpha telescope. You can't use a deep sky hydrogen alpha filter to look at the sun and get this. Hey, Punky! Welcome in. So you can't use a deep sky hydrogen alpha filter to get this kind of clarity. You can put it on to look at the sun. Not safely with your eyes, but if you've got a solar filter and you want extra blocking, you can do that. But you're not going to get this level of detail on the surface of the sun. Unfortunately, those let through about 30 times more unwanted light wavelengths than you need to see this kind of detail. I mean, it could be that 30 is like the highest blocking. If you get a lesser quality filter, something that doesn't have quite as good pollution control, that 30 could go as high as like 900. So yeah, so Glenn, that's a really good question. It seems like things aren't moving. That's true. Things appear frozen, and it's a matter of scale. Like these two sunspots are the size of the planet Earth or bigger, right? So even if something is moving relative to the surface of the sun at say 1,000 miles an hour, it's going to take 6 hours to cross this much distance. You know, one of the diameters of one of these black spots on the sun. But you can. I'll turn the brightness up. Well, I'm gonna do one more capture. But these you can see very lightly. I got some prominences on the edge of the sun. If I were to set this up to capture, say, I don't know, 150 frames every minute on the minute for 2 hours. And then I took all of those, that would be what, 120 images it takes, about, thereabouts. If I took all 120 of those images and I stacked them into individual single frames and then I made a movie out of them, you'd get, like, at 30 frames a second, that'd be 4 seconds of playback, but you would see these prominences moving over those 2 hours of time. And it would be considerable movement. There would be actually a lot of motion there. So that's the thing is, things are moving fast on the surface of the sun. However, the surface of the sun is incredibly big. It's incredibly far away. It's like watching a plane move through the sky, right? You have a plane that's really, really high up in the air, and it looks like a little dot, and it looks like it's barely moving, but you know that plane's probably doing like 500 miles an hour. It's just perspective. It's scale, it's perspective, it's distance. But I was working on, and I should get back to working on it. I had a movie that I was working on that showed the motion of the sun over the course of, I think, like 30 minutes, and it's crazy how much the sun changed over 30 minutes. But you have to take a picture of it like every minute for 30 minutes, and you can get like I had like a 1 second or a 2 second loop. Sorry, that's my work computer. I'm on my lunch break, and I'm just working on my home PC right next door to the. You're sleepy? I'm sleepy too. So let's go take a look and see what other sunspots we have on the surface of the sun, because my capture is done. Yeah, totally unrelated to the sun. I get it. So there's a little baby sunspot here in the middle of the sun. No prominences. They're there, but they're really faint today. I think so. I've got a bunch of wildfire smoke in the air, and I'm wondering if that's causing them to not show up. But I want to look at some sunspots right now, and then I'll go really high on the exposure. We'll look at what prominences are there, because the ones that are there, they're pretty impressive. We got this little sunspot hanging out down here. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna crank up the exposure. You're gonna see some prominences sticking up off the edge of the sun here. There. So we've got these prominences, just nothing super impressive, although this one down here does look pretty cool. It looks like it's actually got some stuff floating off. I don't know if that's coming through for you guys, but it does look like there's some stuff floating way above it. It looks like it's a pretty dynamic area. I don't know about that, Punky. I don't know how impressive I am. My telescope's the impressive thing. I just know how to drive it. So we've got some plasma over here. It's not doing a whole bunch. Yeah, sun nipples. Is that what we're going to start calling sunspots? Little sun nipples? Sun nips? Then we got some prominences over here. These are neat. Look at these, Punky. Nudge the telescope a little bit. I got a feeling we've drifted. So that's looking cool. So the pictures I took, I'm hoping some of this stuff shows up in the video I took of the sun. That would be really cool, I think. I don't know, you could be seeing some plasma. It is. And so what I'm hoping I get, because I've already captured a couple of videos of the sun. Let's go full disc. So I've already done a couple of images or videos of the sun. Oops, Max wants to go outside, I think. And Maverick's gonna go too. Okay. Had to let the Maximus outside. So you got the full disc here. I gotta readjust the sun. It's been drifting. So we're gonna do down 3. Maybe 4 or 5. And then, let's see. So that's where the center is. I'm going to try and line the sun up on that. A little too far, maybe. That looks pretty good. Fairly centered. I mean, it's not perfectly centered, but it's pretty centered. So from here... Oh, Hevie came in there taking turn. So there's our sun. We got all of our prominences hanging out above the surface of the sun. If I make this even brighter, so we're at 29 milliseconds. If I were to go to, say, 35 milliseconds. That didn't really... There's some plasma hanging out over here. I was hoping that that would show up. How much more brighter do I need to go for that? 40? 45? 45? Yeah, so that's starting to show up over here. If I go at 4, we'll get all that surface detail. Oh, a little blown out there. A little too much. All right, let's do 3.25. Nope, that's still even a little overexposed, isn't it? Bring out the old histogram. Do 1,000 photos of this. Actually, before I do that, nudge you down just a hair. Cool. I'm looking forward to processing some of these. Maybe I'll do that this evening. Do another live stream where I'm processing some of these photos that I've been taking. So... yeah, I'm going to need to get back to work here pretty soon. My lunch break's almost over.
So I think I'm gonna go ahead and kill the live stream at this point, so I can get back to my day job for a few more hours at least, and then I'll be able to sign back in later tonight and do some processing, or maybe I'll do another live stream. If I get my other telescope set up, maybe I can do a lunar live stream, because I think the moon will be in a good position before the sun goes completely down. So anyway, I will catch you all on the next one, and we will see what we can come up with as far as the next stream, either later tonight or sometime tomorrow. Catch you all on the next stream.